Florence Kling, wife of Republican President Warren G. Harding and First Lady of the United States from 1921 to 1923. Nicknamed the Duchess by her husband, Florence managed Warren's finances, social life, and public image. In her brief reign as First Lady, she took an active role in national politics, even coming to dominate the president at times. Grace Goodhue, wife of Republican President Calvin Coolidge and First Lady of the United States from 1923 to 1929. A popular hostess and the social highlight of the Coolidge years, Grace stood by her husband as he restored public confidence in the White House after the scandals of the Harding presidency. Lou Henry Hoover, wife of Republican President Herbert Hoover and First Lady of the United States from 1929 to 1933. Lou distinguished herself by becoming the First Lady to broadcast on a regular basis. On last week's episode, 29th President Warren G. Harding died of what appears to be a heart attack. Rumors of foul play are making their rounds around the White House.
I can't believe he's gone.
I can't believe he just dropped dead like that. I mean, I was only First Lady for 2 years.
My dear husband, Warren. He was so great. So loved, so accomplished.
Oh, Flor.
I mean, he practically led us out of the Depression of 21, you know? He's the entire reason why the national economy hasn't collapsed.
He will be dearly missed.
Of course he will. He paved the way for economic prosperity. I mean, he reduced taxes and railroad rates and repealed wartime excess profit taxes. He promoted agricultural interests through the Federal Farm Loan Act and the Kemper-Volstead Act. He created the Federal Bureau of the Budget, which cut spending and revised federal tax laws.
He enacted the Fordey-McCumber tariff, which raised American tariffs on imported goods to protect our farms and industries.
And how about that Budget and Accounting Act? That was a landmark piece of legislation that basically established the framework for a modern federal budget.
He may have paved the way for economic prosperity, but my husband will actually lead us there.
And how about his work in American society? He was the first president to ever openly advocate Black educational, political, and economic equality.
He also restricted immigration to about 3% of the home country's represented population in America through the Emergency Quota Act. Wonders for the installment of a public welfare society.
And not just American society. European society, world society. Warren succeeded where Wilson failed. My husband managed to get us out of the conflicts with the Knox-Porter Resolution.
Never mind the fact that his entire foreign policy was the creation of Secretary of State Charles Hughes, Secretary of Commerce Herbert Hoover, and Secretary of Treasury Andrew Mellon.
Everyone these days are using Luckies.
20,679 physicians say Luckies are less irritating. It's toasted. Your throat protection against irritation, against cough.
So I invited the ladies over for a dinner party to celebrate my husband's many accomplishments as president. Florence is still bitter over the fact that her husband robbed her for 4 years as First Lady, and Lou has been eyeing me with the green monster of jealousy behind her back ever since Herb started seriously considering the presidency. This should be fun.
Did you see what John Labre was wearing at last week's party?
Uh-huh.
He like...
Ladies, thank you all for joining me tonight to commemorate my husband, the president's, many achievements while in office, as this will be his last year. I know not who will win this year's elections. My bets are on you, Lou. But I think I can say in confidence that my husband has had one of the most successful presidencies. So let's celebrate!
Who does she think she is? We're going to spend the next 2 hours celebrating her husband. He's not even here, for God's sake. This is going to be a long night.
Now, I know your dear Warren paved the way for our nation's great economic prosperity, but never before has the United States undergone such a rapid period of economic growth than under my Cal. I mean, 3 revenue acts in 6 years. By 1927, only the richest 2% of taxpayers paid any federal income tax, which was cut in half, mind you.
He also favored increasing tariff rates.
Yeah, but for the most part, he disdained federal regulation of the economy. I mean, he did little to restrict any activities of businesses under their jurisdiction, and he was all for laissez-faire.
Try not to be bitter about your husband's shortcomings, Flossie. I mean, my Herb was the Secretary of Commerce under Calvin's presidency.
Did she really just insult my dead husband? Was she raised in a barn?
And my dear Cal was such a humanitarian. It was he who legislated the Indian Citizenship Act. He granted full U.S. citizenship to Native Americans, and he was in great favor of civil rights for African Americans.
Humanitarian, huh? It was so humanitarian of him to pass the Immigration Act, reducing the 1921's Act quota to 2% of the amount of immigrants already living in the U.S. according to the 1890 census. Humanitarian, huh?
Did Florence forget that it was her husband that passed the predecessor to the Immigration Act? Yeah, he was great, but don't you think it's time to move on now?
Move on? We're just getting started. I haven't even broached his achievements in foreign policy yet. Speaking of, the Washington Naval Treaty, anyone? It's thanks to this treaty that we've been able to limit naval construction, and thus prevent the world from entering into an arms race.
My husband is gonna win the next election.
How about the Kellogg-Briand Pact, just signed earlier this year? You know, France and Germany agreed not to use war to settle any future disputes or conflicts. If my Cal had been president a decade ago, this whole world war business may have never occurred.
Is she for real? Does she really think that this piece of paper will do anything to prevent future war? Lou will be lucky if her husband can avoid war in the next 4 years if he wins the election.
That's so true.
I know, right? He even improved relations with Latin America. He lifted the arms embargo off of Mexico in support of the Mexican rebels. He represented the U.S. at the Pan American Conference, making him the only sitting president thus far to visit Cuba. And he even withdrew American troops from the Dominican Republic. I can go on and on.
And on, and on, and on, and on.
Can we eat now?
Oh, hello. I didn't see you there. I was just admiring the quality of my new book, How to Be Fabulous, by me, Florence Kling. To have today's demonstration, I've decided the best thing I could do was to show you the effects of my book. So, I have gone out and I have found a girl in need of much help on the street. Come in, darling. Right here. Right here. Tell us your name.
Judy?
Alright, Judy. If someone says, how do you feel today? What do you say?
Good.
No. You say fabulous. Say it with me. Fabulous. Good, good. For the second part, this is the most essential part of the transformation. Stand up. Each day, you must hold a power pose for 2 minutes. Go. And presto! Changeo! See the results? 100 times better. Look at this outfit. Look at the jewels. 100 times better. Sit down. Now, tell us all, how do you feel today?
Better!
No! Fabulous!
Disclaimer: results of this book are not guaranteed and may result in low self-esteem, depression, or death. Next season, Herbert Hoover is elected the 31st President of the United States, and Lou's long sought-after dream of becoming First Lady is finally realized. Will a power struggle erupt in the House with 2 former First Ladies and a new one in power?
So my husband was elected president, just as I suspected. I invited the girls over for tea and scones to celebrate his first few months in office, and maybe to rub it in their faces a little. Hey, a first lady is entitled to some bragging rights. Florence, Grace, it's been far too long. How have you ladies been?
Fine.
Oh, that's so good to hear. I'm fine as well. I'm more than fine. My husband Herbert was elected president just 9 short months ago, as I'm sure you know.
We know.
Oh, good. Have you heard about his Boulder Canyon Project Act? They're going to construct a dam in the Black Canyon of the Colorado River, and they're going to name it after him, you know. Hoover Dam has a nice ring to it, doesn't it?
It has just about as nice of a ring as Harding Tomb Memorial has.
My darling Herb, he's such a conservationist. You know, he placed nearly 2 million acres of federal lands in the National Forest Service. What a hero.
Yeah, about as heroic as Florence here.
What was that?
I didn't say a thing, dear. Perhaps you should get your ears checked.
Ladies, let's not diverge from what's important here. Like my husband's reduction of interest on loans. He's responsible for stabilizing the nation's economy. He even established the Federal Farm Board, which helps improve farm crop prices.
I also heard that he directed the Department of the Interior to improve conditions for Native Americans on government reservations. No doubt he drew inspiration from my Cal and his Indian Citizenship Act.
Is Grace kidding me? I invite her into my lovely summer home to discuss my husband's accomplishments, and she brings up her husband, the ex-president? No way am I letting this turn into a repeat of the dinner party. Yes, but back to my husband, the current president. You know, he's already begun to improve relations in Latin America with the Good Neighbor policy, which emphasizes non-interference and non-intervention. He also confronted Japanese aggression in China, and he hasn't even been in office for a full year yet.
That's just 3 more years for something else to go wrong.
How could I forget the Smoot-Hawley tariff? Who knows what would have happened to American agricultural industry if my husband hadn't passed this projected tariff?
Maybe we could have avoided the Great Depression?
Catch the season premiere of Real Housewives of Washington, D.C., Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Did you see what John Lauper was wearing at last week's party?
Uh-huh.
Did you see John Lauper at last week's party?
Ladies.
Yes, but back to my husband, the current president. You know, he's already begun to improve relations in Latin America with the Good Neighbor policy, which emphasizes non- Yes, but back to my husband, the current president. I forgot. Non-intervention. He also confronted Japanese aggression in China, and he hasn't even been in office for a whole year yet.
That's 3 more years for something to go wrong.
And who perfect score?
Who?
Tiffany. It's just logos, but still. Okay. You're going and then I'm going, or I'm going? Ellie! Is it my turn or your turn? Ah!
Okay. It's your turn.